Tactical Edge Squad, been coming to you live here on Wednesday, the 22nd of October. It is lunchtime in New York. Crypto kind of just doing a whole lot of nothing, man. Still ranging. We got, what? Let's give this a little refresh here. It's been a while since I've been live, man. Where's the chat? There's the chat. Live system chat. Boom. Say hello. Say hello if you're watching. I see you guys on here. NASDAQ is down today 1%. We got the S&P 500 down about 0.53%, and we got the Dow Jones down 0.4%. We are seeing a little bit of layoff going in the AI unit within Meta right now. That's not good. That's not good for the AI industry. And then let's just quickly take a look here at the markets. Let's look at the S&P 500. So we talked about this in our New York trading session this morning. We talked about what? A little bit of accumulation, right? There's the accumulation. There's the mark up. There's the distribution. There's the mark down. We are currently marking down right now on the S&P 500. I'm not talking giant, enormous swings. I'm just talking local price structure right now. We lost this right here, consolidation. We broke down. Then we lost the next level, the next swing high, and we're breaking down. You know, there is a little bit of a gap below us right now. So let me go ahead and get rid of some of these brush strokes here to clean this up a little bit. We got a bit of a gap down to what? 6664, 6664, bad number, 666. So there's a little bit of a gap down there. I mean, maybe that gets filled and closed, or maybe we reclaim. I'd be looking to reclaim some of these levels that we lost, right? I want to see us get back up over 6708. If we get back up with volume and strength, there might be a long up to 6723. You reclaim that. Where are you going? Back up to the highs at like 6758, something like that, which is the all-time high. So overall, the market looks good, right? I mean, overall, S&P 500 looks great. Let's see, studio chat. There we go. So yeah, I mean, look, S&P 500 doesn't look bad right now. As long as we hold, is like we're dumping right now. Holy Jesus, what just happened? Everything's dumping. Did something just come out? S&P just dumped. So did NASDAQ. NASDAQ just dumped like 0.5%. The gap's filled. Gap is filled. I can confirm that the gap is filled. Let's look at Bitcoin. Did it dump too? Let's go to a 5-minute chart. I mean, I wouldn't call it a dump, but I mean, it came down a little bit. That's for sure. What do we do? Let's throw on VWAP. Yeah, we came down. We swept VWAP again, and we've been holding above VWAP. Right? What's VWAP? What's VWAP? It's the fair value. It's the fair value price for the day right now. So most of the day, anyone who bought on average for the day is now up. Is now up and in profit. That's all that means. But we're sweeping it, man. We are sweeping it. We're toying with it today. We do find ourselves in a precarious spot, right? So let me go ahead and throw on my weeklies. Let's go ahead and throw on my anchored VWAPs, the fixed range, and the session highs and the session lows, right? So I'm already short. I'm already in a position, right? I've been short. A lot of us caught the short. Here, I'll show it. I guess I don't know if I can show it. Open link. Boom. There's my short of 21K. A lot of the other guys, I mean, this is the beauty of trading together, man. We all start thinking the same way. So many people caught this short yesterday. Hopefully some are still in it. I'm still in it. Rob caught it. Open link. Boom. Donkey caught a bunch of shorts off of that move down yesterday. Open link. I'm just grabbing stuff from our Discord. Vasco, Eddie, J-Meg, bunch of people caught the short yesterday, right? At the Pico top, which is the beautiful part, right? We saw that liquidity grab. Where did we grab liquidity from yesterday? Right here. Look at that. Boom. SFP'd the hell out of it and gave it up. And I said yesterday, for anyone paying attention, what up, Mitch? I said yesterday, man, this pump, it just smelled fishy. And I did lose a trade on that pump, by the way, because I tried to short it. Here. This is where I lost. I lost this trade. I lost $500 and I'm up $30,000 right now on the winning trade. So I don't care right at the end of the day, but I hate to lose. And I still lost, right? It came down. I wasn't happy with it, and it stomped me out right there, and it continued for more. What I wasn't paying attention to yesterday was kind of why we pumped. It was a combination of squeezing out shorts, but it was also that crypto summit the Fed was doing, right? And that wasn't what the market wanted. That was just a little fake out, little pullback, and then boom, we popped up into that bigger level. This is going back to what? Tuesday and Wednesday highs, daily highs from a couple weeks ago. Swept it and dumped. So look, I mean, Eiffel Tower, anyone? Eiffel Tower pattern? Christmas tree, whatever you want to call that, waterfall, I don't care. We gave it all up, and now we're kind of just consolidating again down here. Today has been nothing but choppy, and really so was the latter part of yesterday. The Asia, the Tokyo the Tokyo and the London session were pretty choppy for Bitcoin, and it's still choppy. Today is rough, man. There was a nice short though, and I know a lot of guys did take this short today. Let me show you what the short was today. I didn't, because I'm already in a short, right? Still holding. Here was Tokyo high, right? Where's liquidity there? We wicked into it, closed back in, and people shorted it, right? And maybe some people got this short too. I don't know. I wasn't in Discord, but we swept that high, and then we dumped again down to VWAP. And now we're just stuck underneath that same resistance, right? Resistance. Now, the good news is, if crypto can break through it, right? Where's the next target? Well, 109. There's smaller targets on the way up, but let's look at an hour chart. Look at the hourly chart. If we can get above this resistance, right? If we get acceptance above, right? We get some trading activity above. You see the buyer stepping in. We could go up just as quickly as we went down, because where's the liquidity above us right now? Well, it's in two places, and really only two places. Big liquidity, right? So it's above this high and then above this high. Those are the two main big liquidity pools on an hourly chart above us. That's where the plays are. Maybe, right, off the value area low again. That's the value area low of the entire range. The entire range is value area, right? Big old daily value area, this here. So maybe that comes into play, but for now, we're trading underneath value, right? I wouldn't call it quite a failed auction yet, but if you look at it, right, lost it, back tested, and we're underneath of it again. And you look at it from a daily standpoint too, just strictly from a structure standpoint. Let's just strictly talk market structure on Bitcoin, right? High, lower high, lower high. We need to invalidate this. Low, lower low, right? If this structure continues, right? 1 + 2 + 3 equals what? A higher low. So we need to start invalidating this. And right now, the daily invalidation really sits at last week's high, like 116. I would say we need to break to start flipping market structure up. This is just daily time frame stuff right now. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we're looking at there for Bitcoin right now. So plays, if you're looking for plays on Bitcoin for the remainder of the day and into the afternoon session, once lunch is over here in about 20 minutes, where's the liquidity right now? So let's just go ahead and get rid of some of these trend lines. Get rid of that. Yes, remove them. Let's get rid of that. And let's start closing down some of my drawings. And let's go to an hourly chart. Where's the liquidity right now? Where are the plays? Well, I don't know. It's tough. Like, this is tough because we had a liquidity grab down and then we had a liquidity grab up. So the last liquidity grab was up. So if I'm looking for longs, I want to grab the low, right? Like, and that would be a nice low to grab. Why? It would sweep all this crap, all that. So I'd be looking down here, like 105.7, 106, something like that. A few $100 past this low for a potential grab. But if we lose that, where are we targeting? 103.4, right? So I'd be looking for longs here, possibly a sweep of here, if I was to entertain a long. And like I said, I'm short from up here. So I'm going to continue to hold my short until market structure gets invalidated. So that's kind of where I would look for longs. If I was looking for shorts, where's the short going to be? Well, it could have been this sweep, right? We swept the range on the hourly. We're touching on VWAP right now. If we lose VWAP, right? And it's tough right now because there's not great structure down here. I mean, maybe it's that. Maybe that's the break lower, I would assume. Right? If we lose kind of that 107.5, come down, back test it, you're dumping down to this wick. We're going to come down here because this happened at 6 o'clock in the morning before a lot of New York traders were trading. It would make sense to go to it if that's where we go to wreck everyone who got in pre-market during the London trading session, right? So yeah, or we're going to keep grabbing liquidity higher and going down. Liquidity higher, going down, because that might be just the kind of day it is. Now, we do get some economic data on Friday, right? So the government announced that they are going to release CPI data, inflation data on Friday. We might just see chopping and boring price action until we get to Friday. We haven't had very many economic reports come out because the government is shut down, but they did say they are going to release CPI on Friday. So all eyes are focused on CPI. Plus, we're getting some earnings out too, which is moving at least the stock market. Is the S&P back yet? No, not really. So that's kind of my thoughts on Bitcoin right now, right? Higher time frame market structure says we're going lower, right? As long as we keep doing this on the daily, we're going to keep doing that on the daily until we get a what? A shift, right? A market structure shift up. Call it a choke, just call it a market structure shift, call it a higher high, whatever you want to call it. I'm putting my full faith into market structure, man. Everything else is just noise. Everything else is just noise. Show me those higher time frame shifts. And I'm assuming that the 4-hour lines up with the daily. And it does. Right? This was the little oddball yesterday. Little fake out. SFP'd the high. SFP'd really this high. And then dumped. So yeah, let's go back and look at the S&P 500. Yeah, tough. I mean, like I said, you want to see us reclaim that 6708. Gold. Let's look at gold. Gold's continuing to dump, man. It's down 1.31% of the day. I guess an area of interest for gold to hold. I mean, look at that beautiful double top. Look at that beautiful double top on gold. Divergence too. That is a juicy, juicy, juicy double top, baby. So if I'm looking too long gold, I mean, the logical place where everyone's going to be watching, right? Trend lines are self-fulfilling prophecies. Every single trader in the world uses trend lines. Fib traders use trend lines, right? Elliott wave traders use trend lines. Everybody's watching trend lines. That's the trend line I'm watching for a potential long or even a break lower, right? Is there a diagonal here? There is, and we're at it, right? It might hold here. Because it's also, look at this. Here's some confluence to this level. Boom. Right? Previous swing high. Intersecting with a diagonal. Let's drop an anchor VWAP where this diagonal started. All right, we're not quite there. Let's do it from the top. This most recent top, which is right there. All right, that's not quite there. How about from this swing? No. No. So if this diagonal and horizontal fail, I would say the next spot to look for a long on gold is 39.56. I would. Or continuation lower, right? Because here's the scary part for gold. All this liquidity, everyone who's in gold longs, everyone who's long gold right now is going to start freaking out, man. They're going to start freaking out. You start losing this. And they're really going to start freaking out if we lose this anchored VWAP. Because what does this mean? What is an anchored VWAP, right? It's the average price paid for that asset since wherever you anchored it. So we anchored it to the bottom of this liquidity curve or this money line, right? So if we lose the average price paid for this uptrend, that means everybody, the average trader, I should say, who got in since the uptrend started is now underwater, and they're just going to close positions, and pricing gets sucked all the way back down to where it started. So I would say this would probably be my line in the sand, maybe anchored VWAP. So you got a couple of good areas to watch for gold longs if you're trading gold. And this shit, you know, this is any market. You do have a low to watch on volume, right? So if we just dump to it right now, it would probably be a bearish or bullish divergence, excuse me. So you got a low to watch there too. So that's kind of that's gold in a nutshell. What else? What up, Kush? Good to see you, brother. Do I sound okay? Does it? I'm live right now just to kind of test the new software we're using. There's some issues last night. Does the screen size look good? I guess I'm sitting real low in the frame. I guess I better get my posture on. But does it look all right? Does it sound okay? Do I sound raspy or anything like that? Give me some feedback. Let me know how I sound. That's kind of the point of this. I mean, I'll watch it back on playback too, but... Well, yes, sirs. Yes, sir, ski. So we looked at Bitcoin. Let's look at others. Let's take a look at altcoins. Why not? We looked at the NASDAQ. We looked at gold. If you guys want to see something, by all means, drop it in, and I'll take a look at it for you, as always. So we already swept that, right? Boom. All the way down to here. So similar market structure on higher time frames to Bitcoin, except for Bitcoin put in a higher high where alts put in a lower high. But then we got, you know, lower high, lower high, lower high, low, lower low. What does expectational order flow tell us? Sound good, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kush. What does expectational order flow tell us, right? It tells us that we're going to put in a lower low, right? That this trend is going to continue until it no longer does. That's what it tells us. That's what the expectation of the market is. Until it flips. Where does it flip, right? Well, you put in a higher high. Where's the highs? Right there. That's when you get bullish and buy alts again. Well, that is not financial advice. But that's where you could start thinking and breathing a sigh of relief when we start doing this, right? As opposed to this, right? Lower lows, lower highs. We want to see higher highs, higher lows. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Do not overcomplicate trading. So I would imagine, unless we put in a higher low, we're attacking this low for alts. So if you're an alt holder, might be a little bit more downside, 4% as a total market cap. If you put in a lower low, maybe it's like 7 or 8% dump, which could be 10 to 20%, depending on the altcoin you hold, or 30 or 40 if it's a real shit coin. So that's just total market cap as a whole. You know, here's the scary part. We've been talking about this for a long time. You want to invalidate this. This is what we want invalidated. If you want to see a bull market, because you look at the last top of the market, same shit, man. You want to invalidate the shoulder, head, and shoulders pattern. You really do. You really do. Near protocol for Kush. Let's take a look at Near. Interesting. Near's in an interesting spot. So let me go ahead and just remove all my drawings. Right, we got a nice range. Real beautiful range. Real good highs and lows to trade off of. We're at the value area low right now. Starting to slip it a little bit. So if you're looking to long Near, you know, I don't know what you're exactly you want on this, but here's what I'll tell you. You want acceptance back into value, right? Where's value? Where's 70% of the total volume and traded in this range? Right here. Between these two white lines, right? Where's the most volume in traded? Right here. At that gray line. So we're under it. You want to see acceptance back in. What is acceptance back in? Buying back inside the range, right? Then you can long it back up the POC, get your stop tight, right? If we overtake the POC, where are you headed? Well, there's your next target, right? Like 267. You overtake that, swing high on the 4-hour chart, or daily, excuse me. It's top of the range, baby. So don't jump the shark here. Don't jump the gun as they say. Let that acceptance show its hand, and then you got to move back up to the value area high. And this is just like supply, demand, support, resistance. I don't care what label you put on this, but what's the goal? What's our goal in trading? We want to buy low and we want to sell it high, right? And Near's given us a nice range to do that in, but wait for that acceptance back inside. Get that confirmation, right? Because you don't want to buy a back test into the value area, which we might have just done, and then we put in a lower low, right? Overall, if we look at the bigger picture for Near, let's go to a weekly chart and just see what's going on. Man, it's the same thing on the weekly. I mean, it's just a big range. We need to you want to get real bullish again? Leave this auction we're in. What do I mean by auction? Well, price is made just like an auction, right? Do you guys ever been to a car auction or watch an auction on TV? Like, I got $5 here, $5. Who wants it? $5, $7. That's crypto. That's gold. That's Amazon stock and how it works. We want to see people auction us higher. We want buyers to step in. We want to leave this auction house because so many buyers want to buy it and go higher into this auction, because that's the beauty there. Because we've been stuck here. What am I on? The weekly chart since March of this year, right? We've been stuck into this auction where this is a failed auction, right? We don't know if this has failed yet. This is an ongoing auction, right? From the low to the high to the low. Nice tradable channel. We want to see acceptance back into this auction, because then what are we doing? Probably up to $6 minimum, flip 6 back up to the top. Keep it real simple. Got stopped out in the profit on your short. Good job, brother. I mean, hopefully you saw this range. You shorted it, but good job. It's a beautiful range, I'll tell you that. For now, it's a tradable range if you're just patient and wait for confirmation and not just jumping at everything, right? I mean, look at this. This is what I mean by patience, especially on altcoins in this market right now. Longer term swing trades, right? Look at the bottoms. Let's just dissect the bottoms on Near real quick. We have what? What's this to this? What chart pattern is that? Well, I need some water. It's an Adam and Eve, or a high or low, or a rising triangle. I don't care what you call it, it's a high or low. Right? But then look, what else do we got here? Just draw your trend lines, right? There's the previous high. Right there, right? Let me zoom way in so you can see what I'm doing here. You even drag this back, right? Held us, right? Lost it, retested it, dumped. Shoulder, head, shoulder, back into resistance, dumped. Resistance, little pullback, blew through, retested. What happens on a retest? That reclaims it, you go long. And that would have been a nice trade off the bottom, right? 22%. Then it came back down to that level, right? You got stomped out because you're smart, right? You probably moved your stop to there. Maybe you went down into smaller time frame market structure. Where am I? Right? There's your stop. You moved it up to the next swing low, to the next swing low, and then boom, it stomped you out. And then guess what? It gave you either a short entry or another long off that same trend line. And then boom, it went. Right? You don't have to overcomplicate trade. Just keep it simple and keep it structured. All these bottoms look great. I mean, look at this support it put in. Boom. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Near. Sitting in my hand so I'll get confirmation. Good job. Way to be. Way to be. Take a look at Bitcoin dominance real quick. Well, it's not doing what you want to see. Maybe, yeah, we got a little diagonal there. So this is, boy, weekly. All right, so this was our mini altcoin pump that we got right there. And now it's going back up in the opposite direction. So if you want alt to, I mean, just look. I mean, this thing is so fractal, it's crazy. Here is lost it, right? You want to lose it again. Like, would I mean, I don't really buy alts, but if I was buying alts, it would be when this trend line cracks. Because that's what happens, right? I'd probably draw this a little bit better now that I'm on an hourly instead of weekly. We're in an uptrend. Alts are bleeding into Bitcoin and cash. Crack that trend again, right? Just like, when was it time to sell alts? Well, I'll tell you when it was time to sell alts. Right? Find a similar trend. Maybe there. Probably even going all the way back to there. Touch. I mean, this is when we lost the last one here, and we created the liquidity curve up. And it even got steeper here. But I mean, this is how it works. Look at here. The last time we had alts run was in November of 2024, right? Coming out of the summer lull in 2024. Boom, right? Mini alt season. Until what? Until it changed. And it just happens over and over and over again with Bitcoin dominance. But let's take a look at USDT dominance again. Doing the opposite of what you want to see. I mean, we had a fallen wedge, broke out, retested, solidified that as support, 4.2. There you go, Kush. 420 support. And then we're heading up. So when USDT dominance rises and Bitcoin dominance rise together, people are getting out of, well, probably Bitcoin, because that's dumping, and altcoins. So we just want to see that flip and reverse. We want to see it go the other direction. And that's what it's doing right now, right? People are getting into stable coins, right? People are getting out of altcoins as it's rising. We want to see that flip and reverse on both. And not just worry about the ebbs and flows of every day. We want to see that larger structure shift. S&P, has it regained anything yet? Not yet. Still wanting to crack that 67.10, 67.08 level. What about Bitcoin? Anything yet? We got lunch ending here in about 4 minutes. Hopefully we can move one way or the other at the end of the day. I hope it's down because I'm short. But yeah, I think that's all I got today, man. Just a quick lunchtime check-in on the S&P 500. We looked at gold. We looked at Bitcoin a bunch. We looked at some altcoins. We looked at others, USDT dominance, Bitcoin dominance. Told you what you want to see if you're a spot bag holder. I showed you some areas to go long and short on Bitcoin. That's all I got, man. Like I said, just kind of testing the software today. We're gonna be doing lives a little bit more often. Me and Eddie and Brian. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll see the squad tonight for the meet, and y'all be safe out there.